Lordstown Motors is aiming to be the first automaker with an electric pickup truck to market. Let's check in on the company's progress with Steve Burns, who is Lordstown Motors founder and CEO. Steve, good to speak with you this morning. So we have been following your journey for some time. Give us the latest on where your electric truck stands, when we'll start to hit the market.
Good. Production starts in September. We're in what's called beta stage now. We're building the beta vehicles, which are 97% the final product. They have to go through all the crash testing and all the regulatory and durability. But we're essentially, we have a robotic build. We were, you're showing there a tug of war with a Ford 150. The unique thing about this vehicle, it's electric, but it also has true four-wheel drive. The motors are in the wheels, so it only has 4 moving parts, and they gives very good traction, as you can see here. As it's we did a little just a little country pull off there and pulled a Ford across the field.
No, it's some cool stuff to see. Steve, how many pre-orders do you have, and who's ordering these trucks?
Yeah, so we sell to fleet. So this is a full-size pickup truck. And as I think most people know, it's a favorite of consumers and of workers. So our initial foray is into fleets, and we have pre-sold 100,000 of these to various fleets across America. So really a big appetite. You've got a fleet that's been using a 17 mile per gallon pickup truck for the last 30 years, and we come out with one that gets the equivalent of 75 miles per gallon. And it's just what we had hoped. A lot of pent-up demand, a lot of excitement around it. And you do these pre-orders to kind of get a feel what to tool for in this business, tooling and all the costs associated with the automation required to bring these to market. And so it gives you a good feel of what to tool for, what to build for. And we've been just really happy with 100,000 pre-orders.
And Steve, I'm just curious about that thought process to explicitly target the commercial market, because there's a number of EV players out there. We're going to talk to Lucid Motors in just a little bit here on the program. And it seems a lot of it is focused around the consumer. I'm curious your guys' thought process around focusing commercial first.
Yeah, commercial has a lot of benefits. They buy in big chunks, right? Very sticky orders, a lot of loyalty once you're good to them. And a consumer can be a little more fickle, right? And so for a new OEM with a new kind of vehicle, cutting our teeth on fleets that are very focused, they know exactly what they want their vehicles to do. They buy your vehicle only if it matches that definition. So by definition, you get a good fit and a happy customer.
Steve, I want to ask about the plant and getting it ready to make your truck. My in-laws are out in Northeast Ohio. I've driven by the plant many times out there on the turnpike, so I know it well. And I'm just curious what that process was, getting it to where you needed it to be to start assembling these trucks.
Yeah, for those that don't know, we're called Lordstown Motors because we purchased a former GM plant in Lordstown, Ohio. This is a 6 million square foot plant. I think it's the 3rd most productive plant in the United States. And GM used to make Chevy Cruzes here. They exited that business, and we bought the plant fully intact. So we have like 2,000 robots and stamping and paint and assembly, all the things you would associate with automotive. We are also adding inside of here a giant gigafactory and our own motor plant as well to make our electric motors. So all the things we need to come to market, we're keeping vertically integrated inside this plant. But we're in a part of the world, as you talked about, that's really well suited for automotive production, and we have a very able-bodied plant. And normally a startup, we're kind of somewhere between Silicon Valley and Detroit. We're somewhere in between. We're keeping a entrepreneur kind of culture, but we have the assets of a mature automotive company, which you just don't see in a startup. So it's kind of a unique combo.
Steve, how many workers have you hired, and are they all former GM workers, at least those that work on the floor?
We're up to about 500 employees. To date, most of them have been engineering. We're just starting to layer in, as we get the beta builds here, the workforce that will actually be on the line making these. And a lot of them will be former GM folks. This plant, and the culture around the 100-mile radius of this plant, there's just a lot of 3 generations of making cars. So a lot of talent around here, and we want to utilize that.
Talk to us about batteries. There's a lot of, I'm going to tell you this, there's a lot of competitors coming into this market, testing vehicles close to actually making them. Do you anticipate a battery shortage? And even outside of that, how has the surge in lithium prices impacted what you do?
Good. Of course, if you're an electric vehicle, your battery is your number one thing. That's why we're building our own battery plant here. We don't make the cells, but we assemble these 6,000 small cells into a pack of our own design, and it sits in the floor of the vehicle. So it's a critical part, and you got to control the cost of it. A lot of people associate, there is the raw elements, the lithium, like you talked about, and the cells, but how you hold those 6,000 cells and thermally manage them and electrically manage them and get them to last a long time, that's kind of the secret sauce of an OEM, electric OEM anyway. And we do that all in-house here. So we have several cell suppliers, A, to make sure we have capacity, and B, we're not sole source on anybody. And so we use these 2170 cells that I think Tesla buys those from Panasonic. We buy them from 2 other vendors that make those. So there's about 5 players that are serious automotive cell suppliers, and we have 2 of those.
Fair enough. Steve Burns, Lordstown Motors, founder and CEO. Good luck this year. Looking forward to seeing your trucks on the road.